Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
That I'm going to be having a door fabricated. It's not that heavy. It's a couple hundred pounds, but it is 60 inches long. But what I want to do is I want to put a pivot hinge on it, and I want the hinge I don't want the hinge at the end of the door. I want it to be maybe 12 to 14 inches inward. So it pivots at that point. Can you tell me which one I should be buying?
Well, for a door that light, you could certainly use the 0128. 0128 is the part number. If you search that in the site, it'll come up.
Okay. And on that one, do I have to recess the lower hinge into the concrete?
No, that floor portion is never flush with the floor. It's always surface mounted.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to get I have polished concrete floors in my house, so I don't have to get a chipping hammer and go in, pour concrete, none of that kind of stuff, right? It just mounts to the surface of the floor.
These are never mortised flush. They're always surface mounted right on top. Don't get a chipping hammer. Don't do anything like that.
Okay. And but it is mortised into the door.
Yeah, the template would certainly call out for it to be mortised. It could be surface mounted if for some reason you had a very unusual floor condition, but you wouldn't in your case. You'd want it probably mortised to the door and quite deeply to the door to draw that undercut to as close to zero as possible. Right.
Let's see. Boy, I had a lot of questions. So I didn't know is there any other hinge? I think the Rickson stuff has really great reviews. Is there any other hinge that I should be looking at on your website other than that one?
Yes, the part number I just gave you is the one you should be looking at. It's not Rickson.
Oh, okay, no problem. I don't care about the name brand. I just want the thing to work. Now, is that one now, please forgive me. I'm not really up on my terminology, but does this particular door 180 degrees both directions, the pivot?
Oh yeah, it'll move like a revolving door if you allow it to.
And secondly, is there any holds? Like if I swing it open, is there any like little clicks, like a 90 degree or 100, like a certain degree click, like where if I open it, it'll remain in that position?
Not at all. You'd have to go to a completely different piece of hardware.
Okay, because it is a closet. I don't want it to swing back after I let go. Do you have?
It won't. This is not self-centering. This will stay in any position you put it.
Oh. So what? My wife's going to be using it obviously too. So if we swing the door open, wherever we let it go, so to speak, without momentum, it should stay relatively in that position.
Yeah, provided the door's hung plumb and the floor is level, it'll just exactly stay where it is.
Perfect. And on the I do want it to go both ways. On the closing feature, can I use like strong earth magnets to keep the door in place when we go to close it?
I'm tempted to say no, because that means that you'd have to have a shear line that would be basically zero, and I don't see how you'd really be able to make that work.
I'm sorry. What does that mean, a shear line?
Well, the distance. Imagine your positive and negative magnets when they come in contact with each other. That line between the two is the shear line. That needs to be zero for them to work.
I understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying.
And the purpose of the magnets is to keep it in the closed position?
Right.
Okay. So what you would do is, from this same company, you would order a roller latch, and then you would order a custom double-lipped strike that would be made exactly for your application so that you could pull it open or push it open from either side of the door, and once you push it closed, it'll stay right there, and you will possibly be able to, in your mind's eye, think of a patient.
It's a ball, right? Yeah.
Not a ball, but it's a nylon roller. Think of a hospital room, the patient room, then the door to the bathroom always has those double-ended strikes because they use the same sort of hardware. If a patient's in the bathroom and the nurse has to get in there, The same sort of hardware exists on those applications. They're called rescue strikes. Yours is a bit different.
Okay.
It doesn't have to act like that, but it will be shaped the same way.
Okay. And that 0128, I can mount that. I mean, like I said, right, like 12 to 14 inches from the end of the door. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the end of the door, right?
No, put it anywhere you like. Put it in the dead center.
Okay.
It's whatever you want. No, I've had people do that because they literally want to have access on either side of the door when the door is at 90 degrees, to a closed position. They can leave it locked open right there.
No, I gotcha. And not to waste any time, in my particular case, I have a wide open bathroom, and I have a huge walk-in closet right next to it, but there's no door. It's just an open area to the bathroom, so I need to move it into a specific position so when we swing it open, it basically works as a bathroom door and a closet door at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, I understand.
Last question. Do I have when I install this, I mean, I know there's like certain tolerances for gaps, left, right, up, down, all that good stuff, but on the back of the door where the door hinge would typically be located, do I have to round off that back end, or can it be square and still function the same way?
Yes to the latter. However, the problem if you don't do a radius is that your margin between the jamb and the door edge is going to have to be substantially greater than otherwise.
I understand what you're saying because of the meaning I would have to space it far enough away from wherever it meets the wall in order to incorporate that corner that's going to be swinging around, right?
That's exactly correct.
Do you know, I mean, I know it's all based on math and the distance you want it to be from the wall and all that good stuff on how much you have to put a radius on it, but is there like a tip? I mean, I have a machine shop too. I understand like the reviews and stuff, but is there a certain radius to distance ratio that you would typically know, like meaning, like an eighth of an inch means that you have to put a certain degree radius on the door, and it just kind of mathematically kind of works out?
If you've got a machine shop, toss it into AutoCAD and give it the pivot point. But the short answer is,
I could do that.
The short answer is, if you radius it, you're going to be able to get down to pushing a 1/16 of an inch. If you go a square edge, and of course that gap is based on door thickness, figure about a 1/4 inch.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. I got you. Because the door's going to come finished, or I can have it'd be one of these weird things where I'd have to get the door unfinished, put the radius on, because we're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So I guess that's a consideration.
Yeah. Well, just whoever is supplying the door, give them the hardware set and give them the dimensions of your finished opening, and say make it work.
That's true. They are making it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, all I have to do is just take a router bit to it, right? Here's the radius router bit I want. Just run it down the end before you guys sand it and stain it. Big deal, right?
I have personally done that operation hundreds of times.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to go on your website right now and look at that hinge. Thank you very much for taking my phone call. I appreciate the information, and let me get to ordering this stuff.
Roger that. All
right. Thank you.
We'll take care of it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.